Sarah farts really loudly when she sleeps. Oh my god. And sometimes it smells so bad that we have to wake up and open all the windows. It's awful.
Those were usually the first words my mother said to any friend of mine she met for the first time. She'd never say anything good about me, and at first I never really questioned it because I thought this was normal. Isn't this how all moms acted? Before I continue, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell and you'll get to eat your favorite food tomorrow. Trust me, it really works. Anyway, I'm my parents' second child. I have an older brother called Gregory who already left for college. My dad was a pretty average, boring guy. He ate a lot, was gaining weight, and had already started balding. He wasn't a bad person, but he was pretty bleh, if you know what I mean. When I was about 5 years old, I realized I was good with my hands. I could paint beautiful sceneries, and it seemed like I had years of training. There are people in art school right now who can't paint that well. I also loved making things. I'd gather scraps of cardboard and create miniature houses. I'd paint them, and they would look so realistic after. I never thought much of them because my mom would just roll her eyes every time she saw me doing something creative. Then, one day, my grandma came over and saw all my paintings and miniature buildings displayed in my room.
Who keeps buying you all this art? Don't little girls like toys instead?
Nobody bought this, Grandma. I made these myself.
You what?
I made them. She picked each one up and carefully examined them.
My, Sarah, you're only 6 years old. You are a prodigy. This is brilliant. You can be famous. Wow, I am so proud of you. I'm gonna tell everyone about my talented granddaughter.
As she said this, my mom walked in and started laughing. After my grandma left, my mom sat me at the dinner table and said,
You know Grandma only said these things to be polite, right? Listen, child, there is nothing remarkable about you. All kids your age can do this. Some can even do better. So, don't feel too good about yourself. Now here, eat your dinner and go to bed.
I burst into tears and she left the room and went to watch television with my dad. Apart from my arts and crafts, I was a straight-A student. My teachers totally adored me. But whenever I brought my report card home, instead of hugging me and telling me wonderful things, my mom would say,
Well, the kids in your class must be really dumb. I'm sure if I put you in another school, you'd get D's. You'd be at the bottom of your class. Don't feel too special about yourself.
So here I was, a straight-A prodigy who thought that she was garbage. The summer before I started middle school, my mom started something new.
I don't want you wearing all these hip clothes or whatever. You're going to have to wear these new outfits I bought for you,
She said as she opened my bedroom door and put a big bag of hideous outfits on my bed. By hideous, I don't mean oversized t-shirts or anything like that. I'm talking dresses that old women wore in medieval times. I'm talking, hey, I work on a farm and all I do all day is milk cows type of clothes. They even had bonnets to match. Mom, are we Amish now or something? And how come you don't wear this? I can't wear this stuff.
You can decide what you want to wear when you're an adult. I don't appreciate your tone. You're becoming too rude, young lady,
She replied. She went through my closet and removed all of my normal-looking clothes. The next day, I found out she put them all in a box and donated it to the Salvation Army. I tried to get my dad to help, but the only response I got was,
She's your mother. She knows what's best for you, dear. Can you hand me the remote?
My first day of middle school was the most humiliating day of my life. My boring brown dress reached my ankles and my bonnet was too big, so it covered my ears. I was also wearing a pair of big black boots. Everyone stared at me and laughed as I walked through the hallway. I wanted to cry. When I got to my class, I sat in the back and wished I was invisible. Sadly, when our teacher arrived, she asked everyone to stand and introduce themselves. When it was my turn, everyone turned around and stared. My name is Sarah. Then my new classmates asked a bunch of hurtful questions.
You mean like Sarah in the Bible? She sure looks like she hopped through a time machine to get here. Are you part of a cult? All of you are being so horrible. Gosh,
Said a cute little girl named Nancy. She was tiny, but she had a huge voice, and from that day, we became inseparable. She asked the teacher if we could sit together, and that was that. To tease me, they would have to get through her first. After school, I'd sometimes go to hang out at her house. I did anything I could to avoid going back to mine. We would hang out at the mall on weekends too, although I tried to go to places I wouldn't be seen because my mom still insisted that I wore those awful dresses. Before high school, Nancy told me her plan.
You cannot wear these awful clothes at high school. We're going to have to do something about this.
I don't have anything else. My mom threw all my nice clothes away, and even if I still had them, they wouldn't fit.
I'll lend you some of mine then.
But my mom will see me wearing them to leave the house.
No, she won't. Come to my house first. You'll get ready there, and then we'll leave together.
Wow, that's a good idea. I felt really grateful for a friend like her. Maybe my high school life wouldn't be so horrible and embarrassing. On the first day of school, I did exactly what she said. I left extra early and told my parents it was because I was so excited that I wanted to be the first one there. I got to Nancy's house and she handed me a brand new outfit with shoes to match. I put it on, then stared at myself in the mirror. Wow, I said. I couldn't believe it was really me. My body had changed a lot. I had curves where I didn't know they could exist.
Wow,
Nancy said when she walked in.
You're stunning. Now all we're missing is a little makeup.
We put on a bit of makeup and then we were ready to leave. When I walked through the hallway of my new high school, guys' mouths dropped as they looked at me. They think I look horrible, don't they? I told Nancy.
No, in fact, it's the opposite, Sarah. You're a total hottie. High school is gonna rock,
she replied. Everyone really was staring at me, but for a new reason now. My life completely changed. I went from being the person everyone made fun of to the one everyone wanted to be friends with. Thanks to Nancy, I had lots of clothes and shoes that I could change into every day. Being the laughingstock everywhere I went caused me to become a very shy, insecure, timid girl. But when I realized that everyone in high school admired me because they thought I was gorgeous, I became a new person. I was confident, bold, and outspoken. Nancy was changing too. She was no longer the cute, nerdy little girl. We were both growing and glowing. I started going on dates with guys, and it was so easy. Every single guy at school wanted me, so it was just a matter of doing eeny, meeny, miny, mo to choose who I'd go out with on a particular day. The guys treated me really well. They bought me gifts, carried my bags, and did almost anything I'd ask. My confidence grew so much that one night I was able to confront my mother to give her a piece of my mind. You know I haven't been wearing these awful clothes anymore. I've been changing at Nancy's house every morning. But I won't be doing that anymore. I'm going to burn all these clothes if you don't take them away or donate them or something.
What?
Her mouth dropped. You heard me. I've put up with your horrible treatment for too long. That's stopping today.
You're forgetting one very important thing, though. You live under my roof, and I am your mother. So you have to listen to what I say. You can't simply make decisions for yourself. You're still a child.
What you're doing is mentally abusive. I will speak to my school counselor and have you reported to the police if you don't stop trying to humiliate me for no reason. I will call child services. I will put you on the news. So many women would love to have a daughter like me. You're just ungrateful, and you know what else? You're ugly, both inside and out. She bowed her head and walked out of the room sadly. The next day, I dressed myself in normal clothes in my house and made sure she could see me. See? I'm hot. You're not. Bye, I said. I had a great day at school, and when I got home, all the ugly old dresses were gone, and there were new designer clothes in my wardrobe. Lots of them. I scratched my head, confused. What is she trying? Did my words really affect her that much? I tried on all the clothes. It took me about 2 hours. They all fit me wonderfully, but still, at the back of my mind, I felt she had a darker plan and that she was just playing some kind of sick, evil game with me. But nothing happened for a while. Yep, I'm serious. For at least a year, I had a normal teenage life. So I finally reached a point where I thought I could have friends over and everything would go well. I decided to plan a movie night and I invited a few girls. I prepared some snacks and let my mom know that I was going to have company over. When we were all sitting comfortably in the living room in the middle of our movie and mouthfuls of popcorn, my mom came and sat right in the middle. She paused the movie and started.
Sarah farts really loudly when she sleeps.
The same conversation I told you about at the beginning of the story. My friends looked really confused, then they burst out laughing. My mother continued to make up ridiculous, embarrassing stories about me until everyone was so bored that they made up excuses about why they had to leave. The only person who stayed was Nancy. After my mom went up to her room, Nancy and I spoke for a while.
I didn't know that your mom was so awful. Do you have any idea why she's like that?
No, but of course you knew she was awful. Remember when she used to force me to wear those ugly dresses?
Yes, but I don't know. I think she needs help. We also need to find out why she does this. It's not normal,
Nancy replied. I had never seen it that way, but I listened to the idea Nancy came up with next. She was going to pose as a psychologist and find my mother's social media pages. Then she would talk to her to try to find out what was wrong. You actually think this will work? What if she doesn't reply?
She will. I'm clever, you know.
And of course, after 2 weeks, my mom was talking to a fake psychologist named John Martin. Nancy pretended to be working for an organization that provided free help and counseling to anyone who needed it.
So far, your mom seems normal. She hasn't revealed any secrets to me. I'll ask her about you tomorrow,
Nancy said one day. About 2 weeks later, she had more information for me.
Here, Sarah, read this conversation.
Do you have a daughter?
Yes, I do. I wanted another boy, but I got her, unfortunately.
Why didn't you want a girl?
I was afraid she'd be prettier than me.
Why were you afraid?
I grew up feeling like the ugliest person in the world. Then I met my kid's father, who made me feel like the most beautiful woman who ever existed. I didn't want anyone to take that from me. Then when Sarah was born, I realized that she was so pretty, and sure enough, she grew up and became even more beautiful than I could ever hope to be. So I hate her.
Have you hidden your feelings, or have you shown her that you hate her?
I told her she had no talents. I never praised her when she did anything good. I constantly made her feel worthless.
What else did you do?
I made her hide her beauty. She had to wear the ugliest dresses to school so no one would notice how gorgeous she was. This worked for a long time, but she's being rude now.
Do you realize that you need help?
I read the messages while fighting the urge to cry. My own mother had been humiliating me to feel better about herself? She made me feel nothing just so she could feel pretty?
It's okay. You can cry. I'm here for you,
Nancy said. But how can she live like this? How can she feel right for treating me this way?
I recommended a real psychiatrist, and I hope she goes to visit him to get help for her condition. It's not normal, but I believe that she can be cured. Let's just hope that she takes my advice.
But when I got home, all my designer clothes had disappeared. My wardrobe was empty. My mother was up to something else, and I knew that her healing process was going to be difficult for me. Do you have any advice for me?